This is how to play track 1 from the audio backing tracks that accompany this course. Each track will focus on a slightly different genre within the broad genre of rock. This one is very much a 70s kind of classic rock style in the vein of AC/DC, etc. and is very approachable. Everyone should be able to play this one, and we're using all the hallmarks that we covered earlier in this course, such as power chords, you know, the stuff from the how to write a rock riff, and a couple of little techniques in here. From learning how to practice and play along to these tracks, you'll then be able to go on to be able to play any tracks in this sort of style and at this level and then beyond. As I say, we'll be focused on a few different genres, so we've got some that are a little bit more bluesy, the other tracks, and some are a bit more punky, a bit of metal, you know, various styles within the broad genre spectrum of rock. And I'll be showing you a little bit of how to play an improvised lead solo over each of these. But this course, the one that follows on from this, is my rock lead guitar course, and all of these backing tracks, I'll show you how to play along with those and get started properly with improvisation, looking at string bending and all that kind of stuff in my proper rock lead guitar course, which is available separately. Let's get in for a close-up. Classic rock in A starts with the A power chord played with just one finger, and we strum string 5, 4 and 3 together. And we do a mute, so complete silence with the right hand. And then it's 3 notes descending from fret 3, going to fret 2, and then fret 1. That should also just give you enough time to get to the next chord, which is a D power chord, which is like the D major chord, but we just want the rawness of the power chord sound, which we're going to play string 4, 3 and 2. As shown in the tab. So that first bar and that would begin on beat 1, so that count would become 2, 3, 4, 1, mute on 2, 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4. We can do those 3 descending notes with alternate picking, starting on the down, down, up, down, which would mean that the strum would be on and up, and that would be really good if you can at least try and have a go at doing that. The next chord is a G5, which is the all fingers G, so a G chord played with the third and little finger, with all fingers, but without the first finger, and therefore this middle finger just wants to be a little bit lower. And you can see from the string vibrations that this string, string 5, is not ringing out, and that's what we want. We mute on the second beat of that bar, and then it's open 2 on string 4, 3rd fret of string 5, and then the A power chord again. Those notes again. Open, open, fret 2, both on string 4, string 5, fret 3 with the middle finger, A power chord. That 3rd bar one last time. In total, that gives us 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. One more time, and 2, 3, 4. It would be great if we could add those rock guitar slides in that we covered earlier in this course, and that would happen after the 4th bar. So play the entire riff, and then you've got the option to put it in right at the end, just before you start on the repetition again. And you don't want to do that too much at the start, because after 4 rounds of the normal riff, we then do a slight variation on it where we just add a couple more strums to give a bit more rhythm content in this rhythm guitar part. It makes it a little bit more advanced. So the riff in what I would call kind of the verse section, which you can hear quite clearly in the track, becomes Little bit more right hand content, but the chords are all exactly the same. So this hand, the chord hand, is really doing nothing different, and it's all in the strumming hand. What we do is bar 1 is the same. We have 2 extra strums in the second bar on the D chord. So we strum the D chord once. Where you would mute it before, we do another quick strum and then a mute. And then one last strum on beat 3, mute on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's exactly the same, but this time on the A chord when we play the second half of the riff. So from G, then we have a big change after we've repeated those 2 riffs 4 times. We go to this sort of middle 8 section. Middle 8s don't have to strictly have 8 bars in them. We just need to have, middle 8 is always a big departure basically. So this extra section goes like this. Basically that repeated, and what we're playing is the 7th fret, so this is an easy way for rhythm guitarists to get a bit higher up the neck. We begin at 7th fret on string 4, which is the octave of the open A string. And then we move down 2 frets, so we will play these 2 together at a time. And then we'll move the first finger, that will go to 5th fret, then 4th fret, then 3rd. Pretty much for a bar of each, though I'll cover the rhythm separately. First of all, we just want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we're going to do. Let's do it together. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. That's what this hand is doing, and then we need to get this rhythm. So here the left hand's not going to do anything different, but it's which strings you hit with the right hand that give you the rhythm. So we start at 7th fret and we play just the open A string, palm muted. So my hand is rested just here on the bridge. And then when we hit 7, we need to be slightly open, so either keep your wrist or your hand slightly off of the palm muting, but either way you're going for this sound. You might not have to lift it too much depending on the angle of your hand, but you're looking for this sound. And that would be open. It's not going to sound too much different whether you hit these 2 together or separately, but hitting them together would be ideal. So open, open, together, open, together, open, together. Then we have a very similar pattern going beyond, but you need to have listened to it a couple of times to really get the rhythm. So let me just play it from here. So the rhythm for the first bar is different for the second 2 bars as we move down the neck, and you really have to have that rhythm intrinsically in. But remember, the right hand is just ticking away with 8s. It's just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if you're unsure and you can't quite pick up the rhythm there, just do a bar of each. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. that last bar, what we're going to have is 3, 2, 0, and then start again. 3, 2, 0. And with the more complex rhythm, 2, 3, 4. And it is when those fingers are down which will also contribute to the rhythm, depending on your palm muting, because how long that finger's down for, you know, if I keep it held down, it will always ring out, but without it, it will stop, you know. So one more time. 2, 3, 4. And then we're back to the basic riff. That's how to play all the sections of the classic rock in a song. Remember, if you want to improvise over it, because the riff is based on mainly the minor pentatonic scale, and turning some of the notes from that minor pentatonic into chords like the D and the G, then we want to primarily use the minor pentatonic and also associated scales over it to improvise for exactly how to do that, from how to do string bending to a few licks to get started on it. That's what the lead guitar course is all about, which follows on from this one, and that's the end of how to play classic rock in A. To finish up, let's have a full playthrough of this song with all the sections shown clearly so you can have fun playing along to it.